So it's delivery day for the Amazing Gates 16 footer and really heavy crate, probably around 500 pounds between the two of these. So big panels in there, and I think some installation instructions pamphlet when I get out of there so it don't get wet. And then the posts here, 5-inch posts width. And here's the post caps, 2 of them. So a lot of screws to take out of here and get this thing all apart. So took to open it up with the 50 screws and a little package right there, installing, and then it handles, looks like, but the hinges are in back order. So the only thing I could do is mount the posts in the holes, and this one's full with water currently. This one's going to be bigger, a little bit bigger, but it's close to the foundation. Moving right along. So that's the one section. It's 16 feet wide, so it counts the 2 5-inch posts on each side. And then so these gates are not 8 feet wide to make 16 for 2 of them. They're a little bit less than that. The overall 16 feet, something people should be aware of. Originally I thought it was 8-foot sections, but nope, it's not how it is. The posts will be roughly 16 feet apart, inside to inside. So to give a little gap in between each gate, a couple inches here, the 2 swinging gates, and then it's going to have a little gap over here where the hinges are, and there's the holes for the hinges on there down below. And so far it seems like really good quality. I lifted up on myself. It's not too heavy, but I really like it so far. Let's just hope the paint and everything's gonna hold up to the weather. There's the other one I'll inspect it, but here's the specs. 16 feet width. It's funny because the width, like I said, the posts and gaps and everything, but the height is exactly 6 feet 6 inches to the highest part. So with it off the ground, it's going to be a little bit higher than that. So city, as long as you keep it under 7 feet, you don't have to worry about permits. So that's the plan, to make it right around 6 feet 11 inches off the ground, I guess, altogether. 5 inches might be a little too high off the bottom. I'll see 3 or 4 inches maybe gap underneath. It's just going to depend on the slope that's here. So, press it on. This is the 2 gate panels for the 16 foot, and there's they put the nut rivets already in there for the like a little decoration you're gonna bolt on there. So each of them have this hole here for the hinge. It's like a long threaded rod. You have a nut on this side, so when you tighten the nut, you know, it's going to adjust this left or right, or the end of the gate up and down, should I say. Same thing with the bottom one. The quality seems pretty good. It's from Amazing Gates. Heavy duty. Not too heavy. It's galvanized steel. And then a couple of other pieces. So this is a top cap for the post, 5-inch posts. And then this is the thing I was telling you about, the like a little decoration thing. So you can get mounted on there with those rivet nuts. There's 4 bolts, 2 of those, 1 on each side. I'm getting all my stuff ready. There's the levels. These ones are kind of cool because they have magnets on them. Buy them at Harbor Freight. It'll help you align it 2 different directions. So 1 for each post. This little string levels, bought those. And then here's the string to run between the 2 posts. And here's the post. And same thing with the rivet, nut rivets already in there for the hinges. And both of them have this little label here. So you have to align this line here with the string. So both of them, and because this is the bottom of the gate. So from here to the ground, all the way the whole length of the gate where it's going to be, open and closed, need to make sure it's like 3 to 4 inches. And then make sure the gate's level, even if the ground's not, between the 2 posts. So the no, it looks like that these ones, for some reason, they're not painted, whatever that reason is. They're probably not good, can rust, or there's brass. Can't be brass, I think that would be too soft metal. Maybe I'll touch it up with some black paint. Huge posts. But the let's go pretty far into the ground, 30 to 36 inches into the ground, so it's a pretty deep hole. I'm surprised it has to go that deep. But here's all the bags of cement, and personally, for the hole I dug, this might not be enough for the 2 holes I dug. But I'll see. Cement's pretty cheap. I guess it ain't gonna hurt if you put too much cement. I would hate for the gate over time to sag. And I'm gonna go with Ghost for all my controls to open and close the gate. So this is the box for the battery. Battery box. And of course it's upside down. So you would put 2 batteries in here, and some people only put 1. I guess it all depends on where you live and how many times you're going to open and close the gate. Because mine's going to be solar, I'm not going to have a power source other than the solar. So the solar panel is going to be connected into these 2 batteries, 1 there and 1 here. It's just pretty much like the batteries you have in home alarm systems. And then same thing, positive, negative, hook them up. And then mount this somewhere by the close to the motherboard box. Didn't get that yet in the mail. And the one thing they noticed, you're not supposed to extend this any longer than it is. So you have to put it within the distance from this. It says it's not a good idea to splice into this and make it longer, which is fine. It looks like it's 3 feet long before I even open it up, so that's no problem. And then you could slide, when you close this up, you could actually put a lock on there. It probably won't hurt. But that's the brand. There's a couple other brands out there. What they call that ABBT battery box. And it's for the 12 volt, 7 amp sealed acid batteries. And yeah, you have to buy them separate, so they're not included. But the problem I have now is the hinges are in back order. It's kind of ridiculous because I waited like over a month to get this shipped to me. So it's kind of bummed out there waiting for that. But at least I can do these posts this weekend, set them in the concrete and that. Oh, the other thing, so if you have a 16-foot gate that you purchased, the inside dimensions between the 2 posts is 16 feet. So 16 feet apart, the 2 posts. Because these panels are not, as some would think, 8 feet by 8 feet. they allow for a gap on this side, they allow for a gap on the other side. When, you know, so they're like 7 feet something, 10 inches or something, I forget exactly, maybe a little bit less. Because they want you to have at least 2 or 3 inches in between each side for the hinge. And then that automatic gate opener will mount somewhere around here. You'll have to see when I get in the mail. Somewhere around here. I really thought it would make so much more sense to put it way down the bottom so you don't see it. Because there I see everywhere mounts are way up there, but they're saying no, you should have it in the middle of the gate. But I don't know, I'm still wondering about that. I don't know why, it looks kind of ridiculous. You have this big bulky auto gate opener right there. So we'll see. I think it's bad design to do it like that, and I don't think that thing's going to struggle that much if the gate's perfectly balanced. But maybe over time it will wear out if it's mounted on the bottom. But the bottom could hide it good. You won't see it from the other side. So more on that when I start mounting it. So the day of the pour, one post, second post, and it's a little bit bigger than it had to be. So I'll throw some chunks of concrete in there to fill it up a little bit, but just make sure there's no air pockets. Put the string there, gets it like roughly 3 to 4 inches above the ground, the bottom of the gate. That's the bottom of it. And it's a huge post steel, 5-inch. There's the bolts, the nut rivets that were mounted in there, 4 of them for that lower hinge. Pour this one first, and then make sure 16 feet across inside to inside posts for the 16-foot gates, swing gates. I'm thinking I'll have enough cement, so I'll buy more. It's pretty inexpensive, but for the $4 a bag, it can't hurt to have more than less. Just don't want it to ever sag, which I don't think it will. 2x4s holding in place. These are Harbor Freight clamps, and they're not very strong, but they'll do the job. I've seen people use these big steel clamps, and that clamp's ready to fall off right there. But if I ever had to do it again, I'd probably have steel clamps. Like this top one's a steel clamp. That's not going nowhere. So that's it for now. Well, that's one post done. One thing I learned is as soon as you put 2 bags of cement in there, it's really, you ain't gonna move it at all. So you better have everything perfectly lined. Probably 10 bags of cement, so like $40, and probably overkill, but no, 12 bags, so probably maybe overkill, but for a couple bucks, who cares? I don't want it to move. So the next one will be this one. Before I'm going to throw in some of these big chunks to fill in some of the space after I put in like 3 bags of cement initially. Just got to make sure there's no air pockets under the chunks I put in there, cement, concrete. And the main thing I got to do first is make sure it's still 16 feet in between post to post, because it's really hard to move left and right. So I should have this all done today, and then dried up, and then got to wait for the hinges till next week to hang the gates. But to me, this is the hardest part. Even doing all the gate opener and all that, I think that's way easier than this work, because this has to be so precise, otherwise it's going to throw everything off. Even though there is adjustments on the gate, but it's only going to adjust up and down. If the gate's leaning forward or leaning back, you can't fix that because the post is messed up. The other thing is you try to want to keep these clean, the bottom of this, and I should wipe that off now with a wet rag because that cement's going to be dry on there permanently, look bad. So both posts are set, and I'm going to put a skim coat on the top of there to make it match better the driveway patch. And it's really good adhesive kind of cement, so it don't matter if it's thin, it will still stick to it good. It's for that skim coat and like driveway patches and stuff. So I got that and this one, and I bought the quick dry cement because I don't want to walk away and the post move or anything. I took the supports down, it's good. So I tried to skim coat this. The only thing I like about it, it's a lot lighter color cement. I'm going to brush it off here on the sides with the top cap on. I'm thinking the original cement that I used for the post was this light. I didn't notice that till now, but what are you going to do? Good enough for now. I guess it'll all fade. It's really gray. So I received the package, long overdue, delayed gate hinges from my Amazing Gate, and so it's 16 bolts. It's they're 13 millimeter, and one bearing for each hinge. So you grease the bearing, and then drop one in each hinge. And then pretty cool, you can grease them over time, but I'm going to grease it before I put it in there. And then the gate will hang like this. And the threaded rod here is adjustable to get the gate horizontally level, and to tighten up the gap to make it look more presentable. You could push the gate out further or back it closer to the post. There's also two washers, so one on each side of the gate when this goes through there. And which is really strange to me is they both mount this direction. Somebody could come along and lift the gate off. It ain't that heavy. I'm thinking about it putting I might weld a little, maybe not weld it, but I might put a little brace there that holds this so you can't slip this up out of there, because somebody could lift the gate right off and walk right in. What's the purpose of having a gate if you can just, but I guess somebody, if they really wanted to, they could push the gate open too. I don't know how strong those automatic gate opener and closer that I'm installing, how strong it is to keep it closed. I guess I'm going to find out. So time to mount them. So another fun-filled day. Let's hope it stays fun. I'm going to go over all the parts of my kit here for my gate way over yonder. So the kit Ghost has Dole, because it's Dole swing gate, and it also comes, there's a add-on came with this solar panel because I don't want to run electrical line, and so it's just a regular kit, and then they add that, and that solar panel's right here. So there's it. And so there's two controls, and I wasn't sure if there's a difference, and there is. So the difference is the one has a lot longer cable, so that's going to be the one further away from the control box. So you have to decide what side you want the control box to be on, and then you'll have to use this one with the shorter cable. And everything seems pretty beefed up. This thing is really big, two of them, and a bunch of settings in there that I'll have to go over when I do the installation, for how far I want it to open and close, things like that. The wire and the batteries. So the battery is going to be in this box. Could have got away with one, but I did two because I just don't want to deal with it, and they're not that expensive. So the battery box is going to be mounted probably within a couple feet of this one. And then the solar panel is going to recharge the batteries. Is going to be mounted on this bar on some post out there. I haven't figured that out where yet. So you got two of these bags of hardware, one for each arm, but they call them operators when you wire it in. So operator 1, operator 2. So then this box here had all the hardware for each. You got two of these boxes for each operator or lift, move, arm, and it's really heavy duty looking it over. This will not get used, and neither will this, because I don't have one of those like farm gates with the round pipes in that. So I'll do a little modification to attach this to my kind of gate. And there's many different adjustments you'll see that'll allow for. So once you mount it, you can put it in any one of these different positions to get the right position. And I'll go over that later. So here's another part. So all this in both two boxes of that won't get used. Then it came with some stuff. I haven't looked this over yet. I'm assuming this might be for the mounting of the solar panel, but it seems like a lot of brackets for one little panel. So we'll see. There's electrical cable with the built-in fuse. There's two gate openers. One has a button, or they both have the same buttons. One for single side open, and then dual side. The single side button kind of cool. You can just open one side. You're going to walk through. The other thing is I got the keypad. All this is add-ons. You don't get the keypad in there. You don't get the batteries, and you don't get the battery box. But everything else I'm going over. So let's clarify that. So everything over here was purchased separately. Battery box, batteries, two of them, and then the keypad. And you don't really have to go with Ghost